Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt.
And I have to go back. I have to go back. Also, I'm Sam.
Yeah, man, we finally made it. Season 3 in the can. It took
Mm-hmm.
us almost a whole year.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean,
What a
yeah.
what a season. What a season.
Hell of a season. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so before we really get started though,
No.
housekeeping. So, as usual, this is the season finale, so we're going to be taking a month off. So
Oh,
for
yeah.
the month of September, you won't be hearing or seeing either of us. But we
Mm-mm.
will be back in October. We're not going to be talking about Lost though, because if you've been here with us since the beginning, you'll know October our is going to be our 2 year anniversary. Oh wow!
Wow.
And also Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll try and get Mickey and Amy back or something. Ooh.
Oh, their schedules are filling up fast. So, we gotta book them quick.
Look, Amy needs to defend her title of being the horror movie trivia
Champion.
champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Lost Legacy horror movie trivia champion. She's got to defend it.
I know.
So I'm
I
gonna have to
know.
find some new questions. Alrighty.
And let me ask you this. Have you watched any of the horror movies that they said you should watch?
I have not.
Uh-huh. That's what I thought.
I
That's
don't
what
watch
I
horror
thought.
movies, man. It's not my thing.
There's some good ones. There's some good ones. I think you'd like them.
Yeah, probably would. Yeah, so October's just gonna be a mix of stuff, and then we'll get into season 4 of Lost probably like that first week of November. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Thanksgiving,
Christmas.
and then we got Christmas, and it's like, oh, it's gonna go by so fast. We'll be lucky if we get through like 4 episodes of Lost. So,
Ain't it
we'll
the
see.
way?
Yeah, but what's new, Sam? What are you watching?
Lost. That's what I'm watching.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't think I didn't really watch anything this weekend. What about you?
I didn't watch House of the Dragon because I'm kind of pushing that to the side. I think I'll watch it eventually, but
Mm-hmm.
my focus is on Rings of Power. Comes out as a
Mm.
recording, comes out tomorrow.
Oh, dang.
Reviews are crazy. They're
Mm-hmm.
saying there's no questioning. We can't call this TV anymore. We can't say TV small screen anymore. I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh man. So yeah, everyone's loving it. I think they got the first 2 episodes like for screeners.
Mm.
So I don't know. They're probably just dropping 1 episode a
Mm.
week. I don't know. It's 8 episode season. So we
Only
shall
8
see.
episodes?
Yeah. Oh, but I found out Bear McCreary is doing the music.
Mm. Okay.
I had heard that Howard Shore is coming back, so I'm wondering if he's just
Oh,
doing the
he's doing
theme.
yeah, Howard Shore's doing the theme.
Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
Bear McCreary, man, we've been with him since the start, since
Uh-huh.
Battlestar Galactica, and he's
Uh-huh.
done everything. If you like any television show in
Mm-hmm.
the last 20 years, he probably scored it. Like literally, he's done so much for
Mm-hmm.
TV.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the movies though. I think he's done a few.
Here and there, he did the score for Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I thought was a fantastic score. I think that soundtrack is great. But he didn't come back to do Godzilla versus Kong, and I think that's just a massive oversight. I think his music is superior.
Yeah, it probably also had to do with his schedule.
Probably. Oh
'Cause
yeah,
he
probably.
was
He's
probably
busy.
already been working on this show for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, I don't know.
Oh, and let's not forget, he also did the music for God of War.
True, true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That
That score is
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. That's a while ago though. Well, I guess did that come out around the same time as Godzilla versus Kong?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking like timeline wise. I was just saying he also did the music. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, he's done a lot. I think his best work, one of the greatest. Can you call it cinematic if it's a TV show? I will, because the
Sure.
quality is up. TV is cinematic now. TV is cinema now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just not on a big screen. But one of the best cinematic scores ever was Black Sails.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, pirate adventure. Mm. If you can get through the first season, you're in for a ride.
Mm-hmm.
So, however, I did watch something new. I watched Sharp's Rifles, starring Sean Bean,
Mm.
which is the first of 16 TV movies.
Oh my God.
So Sharp is it's a book series. It's kind of like Master and Commander. You just follow the one character throughout their military career.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say it's like 20, 30 something novels, but the show, quote unquote show, was 16 TV movies.
Mm.
Between 1993 and 2006 or 2008, something like that.
Oh wow.
So yeah, this is like pre Goldeneye Sean Bean.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to say he probably knocked out two or four of these movies before he did Goldeneye.
Mm-hmm.
So because they're about around the same time. But yeah, it's cheesy British television. It's set in the Napoleonic Wars, I believe, in
Mm-hmm.
Spain when Spain is fighting France, and here comes Sean Bean and his crack squad of riflemen, and it was cool. It was fun. It's really cheesy. Every now and then when things get crazy, they have like an electric guitar in the score for some reason.
What?
Like cheesy 90s electric guitar. I was like, ooh,
Wow.
I like that.
Okay.
Um I had a blast. It was fun. It was really cool. So I'll continue going on with this series. One of 16. So far so good.
All right.
So I think it'll also be interesting to see him age as it goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for me, that's pretty much it. That's all I've watched. Other Star Trek Lower Decks is back.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal season premiere. It's the season 3 premiere.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So many like references to the movies, and I can't even get started. I can't even tell you anything about it because Sam hasn't seen the season 2 finale.
I know, I haven't. I'm behind.
Yeah, but it's such a fun time. I know a lot of people gave a crap in the beginning because it's like, oh, they're trying to be Rick and Morty, or oh, they're not like Rick and Morty enough. But it's like, dude, no, it's not Rick and Morty. This is Star Trek. It's
Yeah.
just what it leans more into the humor side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Star Trek Lower Decks.
I will say, I completely forgot. This weekend was a little bit of a blur, but binge watched all of Miss Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh man, let me tell you, that's good. That's good. Probably my favorite of the Phase 4 Disney Plus shows.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I've been hearing a lot of good things about it.
yeah, it's really good. Um yeah, I will say definitely came under fire because they changed her powers
Mm-hmm.
and changed her origin. And yeah, I'll say like for the first like 2 episodes, I was pretty bummed that she doesn't have her comic book powers. But for the story that they're telling and for the MCU, I feel like it works. Um and it's kind of like now it's kind of a thing like okay, like we have two different types of we have two different versions essentially of the same character. You're always going to have the comic version. The MCU version is also going to be here, and I think she's pretty phenomenal. And as
Mm-hmm.
far as the origin change, very interesting. Because her powers do come, or her powers are sort of unlocked by this mystical bangle that she wears. but that's not necessarily where they originate. And that's all I'm going to say,
Mm-hmm.
just in case of spoilers. But I really dug it. I think, you know, this was something that I was looking forward to, and it's refreshing to see, one, because it's a lot of new faces, both just in terms of like acting and within the larger MCU. But also you can kind of glimpse at like the future of this universe. When Comic-Con happens and Feige's out here saying, phases 5 and 6, I can hear the collective groaning across the internet. Like, what? There's more of these? How are there going to be more? It's like, y'all, there are so many different characters. There are so many new characters that
Mm-hmm.
are constantly coming out, and it's like, yeah, maybe people who have been with this since phase one, maybe they're ready to bow out. And that means we can get a whole bunch of new people and we can get a new version. Think of it. We could get a version of the Avengers that we've never seen in the comics before.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I think that's wild. I think that's so cool. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that. So yeah, Miss Marvel, highly recommend. Also saw the first 2 episodes of She-Hulk. I love it. I think it's a blast. Kind of surprised that it's only like half
Mm-hmm.
hour episodes. But it works. They pack a lot into that half hour. And it works as both like kind of comedic, kind of breaking the fourth wall, but it also works as like a legal drama too. So I'm excited to keep going with that and see where that goes.
Nice. Okay. Well,
Enough about all that other
yeah, like I
kid
think I
stuff.
think that's it. I think we got rid of all the other stuff or
Mm-hmm.
got through it. So let's get to the meat here. We're talking about Lost season 3, episodes 22 and 23. Through the Looking Glass, parts 1 and 2. All right, man. All right. Thoughts. First thoughts. Okay, first off. Okay, give me your thoughts and then tell me like what you already knew was coming.
Okay.
Because you did hint at that.
Yeah, yeah. Just face meltingly awesome, great. This is television. This is peak television right here. This is why this show was a global phenomena. Um, and I think still is. Um, even like I know like we're kind of going back, revisiting Breaking Bad because Better Call Saul just ended, and now like more people are like rewatching that. Sopranos is getting some rejuvenation in it, and Lost kind of is too. And yeah, watching this really shows like just how good this series was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so the biggest thing that I knew coming into this episode was Jack's flashbacks aren't flashbacks. They're flash forwards.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I knew the whole time, as soon as he's, with the beard and drinking on a
It's
plane, I was like,
it's kind of it's a much different watch when you already know.
it really is.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And I kept trying to put myself in that mindset of like, okay, I'm in 2000 blah, 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 and I'm watching this for the first time on that night, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like it does fit. It fits very well, because we know that Jack had a problem with alcohol. We knew his wife left him for another man, and she had a life, before he crashed on the island. Even when he's arguing with the other doctor and saying like, you call my dad, and if he's more sober than me, like having that conversation. So like the whole of it really does work
Mm-hmm.
right up until Kate steps out of the shadows at the end, and you're like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
what just happened? What's going on? He knew Kate before the crash. Nope, he didn't. This is after. um so then from there you're sort of like, you're kind of like trying to play catch up, like, wait, piecing together the timeline. Like, wait, it okay, so he's drunk. Why is he the stuff with the maps in his apartment makes more sense? He's trying to look for the island. Who's in the casket? Whose funeral is that? I don't know. Is it somebody from the I don't know. I'm freaking out. Who is Kate with? I have no idea. So yeah, it's just like brain explosion upon explosion, wild. Uh so yeah, it does kind of uh I will say like it did kind of suck knowing that, but going into it was also kind of a fun experience to say like, oh, this is still really good. Like they really like play with those threads and really like
Hmm.
teeter on your knowledge of that right up until the end. So uh yeah, yeah, great,
Yeah,
great.
I what one thing that really sucks about this whole thing was that someone leaked the ending before it aired.
Oh
So
really?
everyone was talking about it.
Mm,
It's a flash forward. The whole thing's a flash forward, or the flashback. Jack's story is a flash forward. But like I didn't know. I knew there were spoilers out there, and back then, this was 2007. It was really
mm,
easy to avoid, or quote unquote, it was kind of easy to avoid spoilers back then because like Twitter was still something else. It was still like very primitive. You know, I
mm-hmm,
honestly I don't even know if Twitter was up at this point. I know it was up and running by the end of Lost, and it wasn't
mm-hmm,
in the first season. So at some point, Twitter was created, and Facebook, Twitter, just social media was different. There were spoilers, but like I kind of remember I had Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows spoiled, but the internet was kind of more like a forum back then, where you go on
mm-hmm.
the forums now and you see all these people conversing. That was kind of almost everything. So if you were reading one of those, you would find spoilers. But if you stayed away from that, like I did, you wouldn't. So I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But the scene where he goes to the funeral home and has some funky name, Hofstrahl or whatever. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's weird. Right after that scene, it cuts to commercial. Boom. So I ran to my computer. I threw it into one of the what's it called? Like
Like the search engine.
well, no, like the thing where like it'll scramble the letters
Oh,
to
okay.
try to find a word out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it came out to flash forward. I was like, oh, oh. I was all freaking out. And then I ran back and kept watching. I was like, oh, it's a flash forward. It makes so much sense.
Wow.
I was like, this that's so weird. I know this show. Why would they name it that? Like what?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah. Um now so the finale of season 4 was also spoiled as well. So, but
Mm.
after this one, like they really started locking things down as far as spoilers went, and I think the rest it was this one, and then the finale season 4. Everything else kind of was stayed shut tight. Um, but yeah, like even then, Matthew Fox and Evangeline Lilly, they were the only two actors who knew about this scene, so it
Mm.
wasn't in the script.
Mm.
Like, oh, interesting. And at some point, it might be after this, they stopped giving the full script to the cast.
That makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, and I'm like, oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
okay. That yeah, that makes sense. So no one really fully knew the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man,
Okay.
this episode was nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And jumping back to last episode, Through the Looking Glass, we're talking about it. Like,
Oh yeah.
what's the book? Like, it's the Alice in Wonderland sequel. Through the Looking Glass. Let me see. Let me go to my behind the scenes here that I wrote. Through the
Mm.
Looking Glass is the sequel to Alice in Wonderland. In the novel, changes in time are a central theme.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
Interesting indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be really hard. But let's try to talk about the episode before the ending.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on that?
uh did not expect uh did not expect that the third explosion was not going to happen because Jin couldn't make the shot. Which isn't to say that he's a bad shot. It's just that like
He had
there
the
was a lot
handgun.
going on.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
handgun. The others had rifles.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I fully expected it to be Bernard. That's on me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh yeah. Oh man. Just explosion was really cool. They took out like most of those guys.
Yeah.
Only three of them left. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. I'm also trying to think like where it goes from there without like recapping the whole episode.
I have no idea how to even talk about this without
Yeah,
recapping it.
this was big. This was a lot.
It was a lot. So if we're talking about the beach stuff, yeah, like well, one, thank God Bernard was there because he's the only reason they survived because he
Hmm.
started giving the information. He's like, nope, I'll tell you, and
Yeah.
that saved at least Jin's life. But my boy Hurley, Hugo Reyes, which
Hmm.
you feel bad because after the last episode, Charlie said, "Is like, look, man, you're just gonna slow us down." And
Hmm.
then essentially Sawyer told him the same thing this episode. He's like, look at you. And he's wearing this big bright red shirt.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like you're not going to help. But he ends up saving the day. He jumps in the Dharma bus. He runs a dude over. Like, oh,
Hmm.
awesome.
Hmm.
And Sawyer, who's been very moody since he murdered his father, or not his father, he was Locke's father since he murdered the real Sawyer.
Hmm.
He was cold this episode, man.
Hmm.
Gunned down Tom in cold blood.
Hmm.
That was for the kid. It's like, ah. Which is a bummer, because I did like Tom, but it's like, he was just another who's not really adding anything to the equation.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I
All
mean,
the others gotta die.
yeah.
All death to all others. What do we say? All others must die.
Oh geez. But yeah, I mean like you're absolutely right as far as, this cast of others who have come and gone. Yeah, he's probably the one that we've known the longest,
Mm-hmm.
but has brought the least,
Yeah,
you know.
and kind of like what we've been saying, they're all written the same. They're not
Mhm.
giving us anything. So if you have all these characters who are doing nothing for you, and the actors aren't delivering a performance as stellar as Michael Emerson, they gotta go.
Yeah.
Like there's no point of having these characters when you have Ben on the show.
Yeah.
So all others must die.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, Mikhail, on the other hand,
My boy Mikhail is
dude,
insane. He's like freaking Michael Myers.
yeah,
Okay. He just can't die. And I hate that and I love it.
yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
But what was great about it was that he did question. He's questioning Ben, and we're
Hmm.
seeing more of that happening. And he's still towing the line, but he's very hesitant about it now. But we don't really get to see where that goes because he dies,
Or
supposedly.
does
Or
he?
does he? I mean, he's holding a grenade when he blows up.
Hmm.
I don't know how you
Hmm.
could come back from that.
I mean, it's Mikhail.
It's true. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. It's speaking just, like not about Lost, but kind of like tangentially about it. That's the kind of that's the kind of role, that you want.
Hmm.
At least for me, like as an actor, like I would kill for that role, you
Yeah.
know. And speaking about others, like, yeah, this dude hardly gets any any real meat, outside of like
Yeah.
the first episode we see him, but just the way he's being performed, the persona that he has, it's like and I guess just like the stuff that he gets to do. I'm just kind of like, yeah, top tier other right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He's no Michael Emerson, but
But he
he's
doesn't have to
close.
be, because
Yeah.
he's bringing something different. He's bringing something that it's his own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the other characters, like the others, their character traits are mysterious and secretive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no room for that when your big bad is mysterious and secretive and a killer actor,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, Clue, right? They killed Clue.
Yeah, yeah. They killed Miss
Yeah.
Clue.
So yeah, gots to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, man. But speaking of Mikhail blowing up, he takes out our other
Charlie,
boy,
our other
Charlie.
boy, Charlie.
It was coming,
Man,
man. It
and
was coming.
he was great in these two
Yeah, he
episodes.
was.
You know,
Yeah.
definitely like, man, MVP is gonna be real hard this time around because
I'm pretty sure it's everyone. It's a cast
yeah,
MVP.
yeah, it's probably gonna be a cast MVP, but like again, like we were saying the last time with Charlie's episode, like finally Dominic Monaghan gets like a really good episode,
Mm-hmm.
his own standalone. And yeah, this time around I'm like, yeah, dude, like where has this been this whole time?
Yeah.
Charlie is a stellar character. It's just that it got kind of muddled, with these 24 episode format seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um but yeah, like just his acting here, along with like the two new others that were here for the brief time they were here.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, like all that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he even gets to meet Penny.
He gets to meet Penny.
He meets Penny.
Oh,
Oh, but
man.
so yeah, like in terms of stuff that I know, I think that's going to be a lot less because I don't remember a lot of the next seasons.
Yeah.
I know of at least one like major character death,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure I remember like how the whole thing ends.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I got no clue. I knew it was coming for Charlie. I knew that was like a big thing. His hand on the bulkhead, not Penny's boat. Like that was, you know,
That was
that's
pretty iconic at the time. I kind of feel like it was hard to miss that,
yeah.
because that was when the season ended. That was a huge I don't know, sticky point. It was a huge selling point with season 4 for sure. They kept
Mm-hmm.
showing that, like, not Penny's boat, because that's
Mm-hmm.
the big question going into season 4. Whose boat is this?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And especially like, he's been there since episode 1, so it's like you want to sell like how dire and drastic
Yeah.
your upcoming season's going to be. Like, yeah, Charlie freaking died and this is the message he died giving. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
it had to be him,
Yeah.
because the code in the computer is music based.
Mhm.
You needed a musician to unlock it. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, dude,
Mhm.
it's meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Jeez.
Dang. What an episode.
Yeah, and then
What.
he goes into he leans back into the water to just drown, and he crosses himself.
Mhm.
And I know Dominic Monaghan had trouble with that, because like he's very just not religious, maybe even anti-religion. I don't know his feelings, but that was the side of Charlie he didn't really like,
Mhm.
because that's not anywhere near who he is in real life, and he didn't want to do it, but they convinced him, and I like that they did, because one, as a Catholic, I do appreciate that, but also two, as a character, it takes you back to where Charlie started,
Mhm.
and it's cool to see that he still had that, like,
Mhm.
oh, he still had that faith. I was
Mhm.
like, oh man, that was tough. And Desmond had to watch. I'm like, oh, Des.
Yes,
Ugh.
man.
But
Don't
he
deserve
knows that
this.
Charlie was talking to Penny, and he knows that it's not Penny's boat.
Mm-hmm.
So Penny's signal was getting blocked.
Mm-hmm.
Whose boat is this, and why did Naomi say she was sent by Penny?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh God,
I don't know.
things are getting nuts.
Oh, speaking of getting nuts, and Naomi,
Oh,
R.I.P.
oh God, dude! Like I
Did not see
completely
that
forgot that
coming.
happened. Neither did I. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Although
Oh,
it like sort of telegraphed when she's explaining to Jack how the phone works.
oh yeah, in
But
case
I mean,
something
like,
happens to me,
yeah, I
I'm
was
like,
like,
oh.
yeah. I mean, like that happens so often, but yeah, like I was expecting something else. Was not expecting to have a knife thrown in her back by one Jonathan
John
Locke.
Locke. Ooh, we only get him for 2 scenes in these past 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Scene one, he's in the pit
Mm-hmm.
and he's visited. Oh, he's gonna kill himself because he finds that pistol in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's visited by a familiar face,
Mm-hmm.
Walt.
Walt.
What's his last name? I don't remember. Walter
Whitman?
Lost.
No, I don't
I don't know.
know.
Yeah, and he's like, it's not your time, John. You got work to do. It's like, oh, and apparently John's doing the work. But this again, I kind of love this story, because Locke, he was in that position. He had to kill his dad to be accepted into the others. And that's the question we've been asking this whole time, this whole show, but this whole season, is John Locke a good man? Is he a farmer or a hunter? He keeps
Mm-hmm.
saying hunter, but he will not kill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And when he has to kill his dad, he can't do it. So he gets Sawyer to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then he just comes out, straight up murders Naomi
Mm-hmm.
in the back. But he can't kill Jack though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh man. So yeah, I don't know. I think we have our answers to that question. Although he still probably has a conscience or a heart, he's crossed that line.
Yeah.
He's a murderer now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now they have Ben in he's their prisoner.
Uh-huh. Yep. Which, like, finally, glad he got the snot beat out of him.
Oh, I know, dude.
It's like this has been a long time coming, and in my opinion, Jack didn't go far enough.
Yeah, I am glad though he kept the three alive. So thanks
Mm-hmm.
for that, Ben. But
Mm-hmm.
oh man, I love that Matthew Fox's acting once he thinks the others are dead.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene. But now we also have, it's like everyone's together. They also have Russo is with Alex now. She finally meets her mother meets daughter.
Can we talk?
Carl's still there. I'm like,
Yeah. Can we talk about what a beautiful moment it is where Rousseau and Alex, they're finally together.
mhm.
Rousseau brushes Alex's face, touches her shoulders, and says, "Will you help me tie him up?" I'm like, this
Oh,
is
I loved
perfect.
it, dude. I
This is
loved it.
this is perfect. And then they tie up Ben. I'm like, this is great. I want nothing bad to happen to these two.
MVP to the casting, whoever
Mm-hmm.
casted Alex, because you believe that she's Russo's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a good actor. Mira Furlan though just kills it, man. She tears it up. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, what a
Yeah.
performance. She doesn't have a lot of lines,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a character who needs a lot of lines. She's just always there watching, and it's so good. But now everyone thinks they're getting rescued. Supposedly, they talk to someone on the boat, someone on Naomi's boat. He says,
Mm-hmm.
"Hell yeah, we're coming to get you."
I'm sorry. When he said that line, I was like, is that Matt? It sounds like this is a Matt character for sure. Hell yeah, we're on our way. Like, wow. Casting
uh,
directors, cast my brother as that guy.
Leave the porch light on, Mama. We're coming home.
Oh my god.
What else? Did we miss something else? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
The others. So Ben is split from the others now because he's
Oh yeah,
captured.
yeah.
So they're with Richard, and he's taking them to the temple. Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, whatever that is. I don't know.
Hmm.
Uh yeah, but there's a lot of questioning going on because Ben wasn't telling the truth about a whole lot of stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You like now, for us, we've kind of been seeing that for a couple episodes, but now the others are starting to realize that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been lying a lot. He's been
Mm-hmm.
doing things quote unquote because Jacob said so. And like his list of lies is just getting longer and longer.
Mm-hmm.
It's to protect the island. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like
and yeah,
maybe on some level, yes, but also it's like it's to protect him.
yeah, I think he wants to
Yeah.
stay empowered. That was his whole reason for taking out Locke or trying to, because
Mm-hmm.
Locke heard Jacob talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man. What a diabolical putz.
There's gonna be an other reckoning, I'm
Ooh,
sure.
damn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just for since we talked about the episode, let's just do MVPs. Do we agree? It's like the whole cast.
Whole cast. Yeah. Whole cast. Which like may feel like a cheat, but honestly, they're like everybody's giving a stellar performance in this. So it's
But
like,
I think we've done that the last two finales though, so
yeah, yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Like it has to be something like truly transcendent, to be like, oh, easily, one character over the others.
I mean, not typically. I mean, because typically the episode focuses on one person, so it's easier to do that.
Well, yeah.
But in terms of the finales, that's what really makes Lost a lot of that prestige television we've been talking about, because it their finales really are events. This was
Mm-hmm.
event TV, and just watching it, it makes sense. There's a big difference watching season premiere, watching a random episode of a season, and then compare that to watching the season finale. Like
Mm-hmm.
and all the storylines like start. They don't wrap up, but they all start looping back into each other. Like you could say a lot of things about Lost, but you can't knock their season finales.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, that's how I felt about the series finale as well. I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of people have problems with it, but I'm like, guys, this is amazing television. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now here we are 3 seasons in. I'm like, if you go, like, I would kind of tell people if you go in expecting all your questions to be answered, you're probably not going to enjoy the show.
Mm-hmm.
And on some level, that is disappointing because there is a lot of like the fantastical elements of the show. I do want to know more. I do want the answers, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But after 3 seasons already, like we've talked about so much, like this show really is about the characters,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's where they put their emphasis on. I think it could have done a better balance between the two, but like this is damn good television.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who doesn't agree, they're wrong. No, there's just it's just not for them. This
Yeah.
isn't their thing. You know.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well.
What are your predictions for season 4?
This is where I pull out my giant notebook and it's comically large and I slam it on the table. I've got theories.
Oh god.
Yeah. Section 35, paragraph 1, subsidiary A. Okay. So I know not everybody makes it off the island. I don't know who. I don't
As
know.
of now, we know that
Mhm.
Jack and
And
Kate
Kate.
make it off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they're off island for sure. I don't know who else goes. Um okay. I'm gonna presume that we're now gonna get flash forwards for the characters who are off island, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because I think that's kind of how the season will go. I also this is a shorter season, right?
I think it's 14 episodes or 16.
Okay.
I don't remember because this was a season where they had the writer strike.
Finally, we're in the
So
writer's strike. Okay.
it was a lot shorter.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me check real quick. Uh, but I think actually what happened was they had to shorten it because one, it was already going to be shorter. That was part of the deal about ending it
Mm-hmm.
because they were saying like we can't keep doing these 20 plus episode seasons because you get episodes about Jack's tattoos.
Ugh,
So it was
yeah.
already going to be a shorter season. And then the writer strike happened and it ended up getting even shorter. But then
Mm,
once it ended, they were able to add on a little more. So yeah, it's 14 episodes this season.
mm.
But
Okay.
keep in mind, that's like the 2-part finale. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a much shorter season.
Okay. Okay.
We still won't finish by Christmas.
No, no, we won't.
Yeah,
Not at the rate we're going.
I know.
Um, uh, yeah. I was trying to think of something as I was watching the finale that was like, how is this X-Men related? I feel like I can weave a tale in there. Maybe they'll do a Days of Future Past,
Hmm.
you know, episode. Um, but yeah, I don't know. As far as theories go, I just know Ben's got it coming. And yeah, I don't know. That's I'm I'm in the weeds right now. I have no idea what to think.
Well, and Sam closes the giant, comically large theories book and puts it back under his desk. It's like,
Hmm.
oh well, okay,
That's it. That's all I had actually.
yeah.
That's actually my
Well,
D&D book, and I just wrote that brief little note.
yeah.
Ben's got it coming. That's it.
All I'll say is, from my memories of Lost, season 4 was my favorite.
Mm.
So I'm excited, but also nervous because I it's just like the rest of the show. Like it seems like it's aged very well.
Hmm.
I hope that stays true for the rest of the series.
Hmm.
So I just remember season 4 just absolutely loving it. And also because I think people had already stopped watching the show by this point, you know,
Mm.
like, or not like all the people, but it was no longer the first season of Lost. I think people started dropping in season 2 and 3 and so on.
Right.
To me, there was just something different about season 4. I think that's also when we got a lot more of like the what do you want to call it? The different kind of promotional stuff, like the I don't know when the novel came. The what's it called? Novel
The Bad Twin?
the Bad Twin novel that came out at some point. There's a video game at some point. I think
Hmm.
all of that started really kicking off in the last 3 seasons
Hmm.
before it ended. Because like once it ended, it was over. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Because
yeah,
like a viral marketing kind of like took off about this
yeah.
point.
I think it was earlier. I think it was like that started like season 2, season 3, because they were
Mm.
already doing like Oceanic commercials,
Oh yeah, yeah.
stuff like that. And yeah, I think like even like Lost, like it cuts to commercial and it's Oceanic commercial, and you're like, wait, what? Reserve today and reserve your spot. And then if you call the number, it gives you like some kind of weird like info that's like, ooh, how's this going to relate to the rest of the show? You know, it was
Yeah.
such a fun time. And this was early college for me. So yeah, it's a fun time in my life. And I just remember absolutely being floored by season 4.
So you know what that means.
Hmm.
I'm gonna hate
You're going to hate it. That's right.
it.
Well, I thought we were going to have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, I did too. But like I like anything else would just be like, oh, look, in this scene, this character did that. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you
like,
see the way his eyebrow moved when he
uh-huh,
said that? What does
uh-huh.
it mean?
I don't know. Honestly, like I loved it when Saeed killed that guy, you
Oh,
know?
dude, I know. With his legs, hands tied behind his back, he
Mm-hmm.
trips the guy and then snaps his neck with his
Mm-hmm.
thighs.
With his thighs. Yeah.
That's a that's a man right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Uh so yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
I oh, what were you gonna say? And then I'll jump into
oh
my thing.
just gonna reiterate like how much of a Winnie the Pooh Hurley is.
Oh,
Just
I know.
throwing himself in situations where I'm like, Hurley, no, and then it's like, Hurley, yes.
Yeah, he Pooh
I'm
Beared it.
he Pooh Beared it for sure. He's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna help my way, and then he
Yeah.
did, and it saved the freaking day.
Yeah, it did.
Um, yeah, just I don't know, triumphant. I love you, Hugo. You're the best.
Mm-hmm.
Never change.
Yeah, don't change for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so I had asked you a couple episodes ago, like what kind of tropes do you wish were in this show?
Mm-hmm.
And because I was thinking about this, like what I would really like to see a character on this show was like a family man,
Mm-hmm.
someone who has family back home. That's
Mm-hmm.
all he wants to do. He just wants to get back home. I would have
Mm-hmm.
loved to see that dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people are just like, well, we're stuck. Well, we're here together or whatever. But like someone who's like, I really wanted to see someone like, I think 3 seasons in, we're losing that motivation for people to trying to get home. Like it's still there, but like they're kind of settling in. They're kind of facing the facts. Like I still want to see that person trying to get home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of that with Michael in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Michael kind of fills the role of the family man. It's just that he's a new father,
Yeah.
trying to relate to his kid, So it's like that's where I think that's where the writers focus that drama. But
Mhm.
yeah, I agree. I think having characters, even if you did something like Sun and Jin, where it's like, I need to get back to my husband,
Mhm.
or I need to get back to my wife. Like, even something like that, I think would have gone a long way. Cause yeah, it feels like, Jack's dead, dad is dead. We don't know anything about Sawyer, Locke, his whole family
The
dynamic.
only
It's
one we
like,
really know is Hurley, but he's like not actively like trying
yeah,
to get home.
yeah. Well, yeah, because his whole thing was the stuff with the numbers,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, yeah, I think having that sort of drama, really
Mhm.
would really like excel,
Yeah.
with the show like Lost.
I I would have liked to see that I would have liked to see we talked about like a law enforcement person like Rick
Mm-hmm.
Grimes. That would have been interesting.
Pair of podcasting brothers. That's what I want to see.
Right? I want to see podcaster. Um Ignore the poor mistreated dogs next door. That's my neighbor's dogs. I would have liked a goth girl. Technically, that was Claire. She just got out of the goth phase. Well,
Uh-huh.
ooh, that's a tongue twister. She just got out of, or she's already through the goth phase.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it took getting her mom into like a horrible car crash and a coma to do it, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, should have kept her goth. Um, yeah, let me see. Oh, I mentioned like a celebrity. I think it would have been cool to have a celebrity, but not like the jerk. Because when people put like celebrities into stories, like survival stories, they're always the jerk who ends up getting
Mm-hmm.
people killed or getting killed. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I want to see someone actually step up. Like
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, this dude's actually a good dude.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't know,
think
maybe that's too much like, oh, this is like the perfect character.
I mean, yeah, like the flaws would have to come from other places, but
Yeah.
um I don't know why, but like the first person that came to mind when you said the celebrity, in my head I was like, oh yeah, Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I would
Yeah.
love, yeah, and he
I
could
feel
fit
like
that
he
family
would,
role too.
yeah, I feel
What
like
if
he
you
would be, he would survive.
right,
Yeah.
right? What if you make the family man Hugh Jackman?
I
So then like
love, oh, that's true.
the veneer of the celebrity kind of goes away, and then it turns
Hmm.
into, look, forget all that. I'm a dad. I need to get home to my family.
Yeah.
Like that would be very interesting.
I love Enemies to Lovers, which is kind of Kate and Sawyer.
Uh, is it though?
I mean, they're lovers. I don't know how
Yeah,
much love is involved.
yeah, but the enemies to lovers thing is that.
Are you trying to make the argument that Sawyer and Kate aren't enemies to lovers?
Look, enemies to lovers just like implies that there's antagonism, like headstrong at the big. Okay, yeah, you're right. Dang it.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Speaking of which, what's her name? Juliet and Jack straight up kiss.
Yeah, that
And
was
like, and
weird.
she's very flirty. I'm like, okay. I mean, like, we've kind of seen them getting close, not too much flirtiness, but
Mm-hmm.
then Jack is talking to Kate, just making sure she's all right. Blah blah blah. What's the line, Sam? What does he? What does he say?
He says, because I love you.
That's right. That's what it was. I knew it was somewhere. Yeah, but like I don't remember what they're talking about. That's what I was trying
Yeah,
to get to.
I don't
But
remember.
he basically says he loves her, and Kate's
Mm-hmm.
like,
And I was like that too. I was like,
mm-hmm.
what? What?
See, if that was a Matt moment, it would be like, hey, you know I'm in love with you, right?
Oh my God.
Which I have to say, I feel very called out because in The Legend of Vox Machina,
I knew it. I
the
knew it.
character pulls that. They're
Uh-huh.
surrounded by zombie. He pulls the line. I was like, that's such a Matt moment. And
Uh-huh.
Keelif's like, oh, okay. What? She's like, now? It's a little like inconvenient. And she just like
Mm-hmm.
flips out,
Mm-hmm.
like, why are you telling me this now? We're about to die.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it
To be
sounded
fair,
cooler. Sounded cooler in my head.
that is also kind of a Matt character. So
What, Vax?
yeah.
I guess Vax was always a little too edge lord for me.
Yeah, like the way he's played and the way he comes off
Yeah,
is a little too edgelordy, but it's stuff like that, and I don't know, just like other like character stuff. I'm like, this is a Matt character.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
were making the live action adaptation, I'd go for
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I well, now we're talking about something completely different, but I'll just end it by this. So Legends of Vox Machina was based off of the Critical Role D&D campaign live stream.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You don't see this in the cartoon, but because in the cartoon, Vax gets bit by the vampire,
mm-hmm,
and then they start fighting, and he gets saved. In the game, like he almost like I think he goes unconscious. Like he's slipping out of it while everyone else is fighting. Like he's losing it. And
mm-hmm.
Liam O'Brien, who plays Vax, he takes the time and says, "As I slip out into unconsciousness, the last thing going through my head is of my sister and of my mother." And he starts talking about all this stuff, essentially thinking like he's gonna die. These are his last thoughts. And he ends it by talking about Keyleth.
Mm.
And that was the turning point. That's where everyone's like, oh my God, is he in love with Keyleth? So it's kind of cool like that they were still able to put that into the animated series, just
Mm-hmm,
not exactly.
mm-hmm.
Also, for the cast and crew Critical Role, that was the first time where they're like, oh shit, can our characters like fall in love with each other? And because once that happens, like it completely changes the way you think about storytelling
Yeah.
in Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm like, oh, brilliant, brilliant. You
Mm-hmm.
know, not like TV where they're like, okay, we're coming up with X amount of characters. Who's gonna sleep with each other? We gotta
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't get the sellable ships, nobody's gonna watch this.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly. Well, it's the very like God, it was probably like season three. It's very season three Smallville, you know, poster inside the magazine. Good sex, bad Lex. Smallville.
was that a thing?
That's a thing. It's an actual poster inside, and it's got Clark and Lana, and they're both like, you can both tell they're not wearing shirts, because you can see their shoulders. They're staring seductively out at the camera, but they're kind of in the foreground together. And then you just have Michael Rosenbaum, Lex Luthor, like kind of like in the back, just just staring menacingly. And that's the tagline for season 3 of Smallville:
I
good sex,
I
bad
gotta I gotta
Lex.
plug the Talkville podcast with Michael
Mm,
Rosenbaum and Tom Welling.
hmm
Like I've been listening to parts of it because it keeps showing up on my YouTube, and it's
hmm
so good. Like I'm kind of tempted to rewatch Smallville.
Dude, I've been getting that feeling too. I'm like, I kind of want to rewatch it.
Like I enjoyed it for what it was. I never even finished it because
Yeah.
that was when I was in high school and college. Those years were my years. So when Clark goes to college, that was my first year of college. So we were the same
hmm
age. So, but like the quality started going down after that, and like, but before then, before I went to college, that was you, me, and Dad were watching that.
hmm
So, and it was good. I love it. And the 100th episode rocked me, and it still
Yeah.
does. When his dad dies, it's one of the best 100th episodes of any show.
hmm
But like, I really don't have any want to go back and watch it. But hearing about the guys talk about it each week, I'm like, damn, I kind of want to watch just so I know what they're talking about.
hmm
But it's still cool, regardless if you watch the show again or not. So many cool little tidbits and stuff. I'm like, man, what a show! Like genre
Indeed.
defining show.
hmm
We wouldn't have the Arrowverse without it,
That's true. Yeah, we wouldn't.
because
We
although it's
really
not
wouldn't.
directly connected, Green Arrow was greenlit because of the success of Smallville
hmm
and for the love of Green Arrow in Smallville.
hmm
They just
hmm
started rebooted it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is a good time to speaking about plugging stuff, it's time to plug what we're gonna do after. Because now this is season, we ended season 3, and just
Mm-hmm.
like Lost, I'm announcing we're gonna eventually end, Lost Legacies. But that brings us to the shows we're going to run adjacent with is uh uh Small Legacies, which is our
See,
Smallville and Lost podcast.
what about just
uh
Lostville?
Lost, oh, there you go.
I
Yeah,
like that.
there
Yeah.
you go. Lostville, that's much better. See, this is why you're in charge of all this. And then of course the Legends of Lost Machina, where
Yeah.
we're going to not just watch the animated series and relate it to Lost, we're going to watch all of campaign 1 of Critical Role
Critical Role,
and relate it
but
back to
but
Lost.
that comes after Battlestar Galactica,
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
Magicians,
Oh yeah, we're easily,
Killjoys,
yeah.
The 100,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
The Expanse when we do our Expanse
The
show.
Expanse, yeah,
So
yeah.
so we'll probably get to
This is like,
Lostville in
mhm.
2049.
Yeah, 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 for sure. This is easily season 150, like right here. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. And if you like all of that, check out The Adventures of Cinnamon and Oatmeal, wherever podcasts can be found.
Please go check it out. It's fun. It's got two guys that I think you guys would like.
At the time of this airing, new episode drops tomorrow.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. So go give those two little teddy bears some love.
Uh-huh.
Also, hit us up. We're gonna be off for a month, but let us know what you want to see when we come back. Maybe some things we can do or tackle. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, we're not going to do any Lost stuff for October because we're going to be doing other things. So, I don't know. Maybe we can fit one of your requests in there. Who knows?
Who
But you got to
knows?
let us know ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
As always, you can find me on the Twitter at _Matt Jimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Real, that's REEL, Texas Weirdo.
Until next time. We have to go back!
We have to go back!